Jungle.
So I welcome you to Monday. I welcome you to New Week. I welcome you to another exciting edition of From the Newspaper, streaming live from the premises of JC's Hotel, Akpete, Ibadan. Good morning to you all. You are listening to MFM Radio and TV. This is MFM Radio and TV 97.3, where we set the agenda and project the truth. And don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM Radio and TV. And as you're watching us, do well to like, comment, and share. And as usual, I know this program is in form of 3 segments. The first segment is the weather forecast report of 3 major cities in Nigeria: the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the commercial city of Lagos, and the vibrant city of Ibadan. The second segment on the show is the headlines, make round of Nigerian newspaper, and as usual, always bring 4 newspaper to you every morning: the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and the Nigerian Tribune. The last segment on the show is the details to the headlines. My name is SHAQEEROH AKINYEMI. At 1 p.m. is mostly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is mostly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is mostly sunny with 32 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is partly sunny with 33 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is partly sunny with 34 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is intermittent cloud with 32 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. is thunderstorms with 31
Jungle.
At 10 a.m. in the commercial city of Lagos this morning, it's mostly sunny with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 11 a.m. is mostly sunny with 30 degrees Celsius. At 12 p.m. is mostly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius. And at 1 p.m. is mostly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius. And at 1 p.m. is mostly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius. At 2 p.m. is mostly sunny with 32 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is intermittent cloud with 32 degrees Celsius. At 4 p.m. is partly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is intermittent degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius, and at 8 p.m. is cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius, and at 10 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. At 11 p.m. is intermittent cloud with 26 degrees Celsius. Is the Punch newspaper. And the latest story on the Punch newspaper this morning says federal government taps ex-AGF 11 sounds as Supreme Court battle loans, and page 2 has the analysis to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And there are 2 riders to that story. The first rider says Supreme Court may release hearing date today. And the last rider says PDP Governor's legal team prepares as AGF says Governors Forum lack local stands, and page 2 has the analysis to that story. Above the line of Punch newspaper this morning says, I'm not desperate to return as River Governor, says Subara, and page 9 has the details to that story. PDP installs new board member as Governor's map party direction, in page 9 has the details to that story. newspaper, another story says federal government makes U-turn, endorses Senate security submit, and page 2 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Why Jonathan won't run against Tinubu in 2027 stays patience, and page 7 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Another story on the Punch newspaper says Naga Honda fire have plane strike antelope on taxiway, and page 7 has the details to that story. Aiyedatiwa Makinde Bamidele salutes Afenifere leader Farutimi at 99, and page 40 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Naira in debt in 18 months, and page 31 has the details to that story. To the Vanguard newspaper. The lead story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning says federal government ramps up democratic borrowing of 10.85 trillion naira, and page 22 has analysis to that story. And there are 3 riders to that story. The first rider says, shift borrowing prevents to TBS amidst high interest rates. Deficits to escalate as high revenue underperforms. And the last rider says, analysts disagree. Defense Minister backtracks supports Senate security submit, and page 8 has the details to that story. Nigeria orders affected as UK clamps down on case workers' visas, and page 34 has the details to that story. Debunks allegation of multi-billion corruption, and page 24 has the details to that story. And the last story on the Vanguard newspaper says protest trail Lagos APC primaries over Buba Sope influence, and page 10 has the details to that story. president but fight corruption first. Obi tells African youths in page 3 how the details to that story. Story on the Guardian newspaper says Serap seeks CBN's disclosure on release fund to local government river councils. In page 7 how the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
To that story.
Audio Jungle.
Joins PDP governors meeting in last-ditch effort to save party. In page 6 how the details to that story. Story on the Guardian newspaper says Jonathan endorses Tinubu for 2027 poll. And page 4 how the details to that story. APC primaries over alleged on his over INEC's delay to conduct by-election in 12 states. In page 22 how the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And there is one reader to that story that says 2 Senate seats, 5 Red 7, 6 patients, Jonathan, and page 3 how the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Desperate to return, my spirit has left already, says Fubara, and page 22 has the details to that story. At last story on Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning says Isekiri Yoruba, we need to work together, says the laughing. And there's one reader to that story that says Wari chiefs, other means or your traditional So we have come to the end of the second segment. Before we divert into the last segment, let's go on a break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
ìgbà tó tó bá ní ṣe baálé ọba gbọ́migbọ́mi.
ènìyàn mi lọ́kùnrin àti lóbìnrin.
ní ṣe ọba wọn lálẹ́ odò bó jẹ́ tìròyìn tó kojú owó orin tó dùn ún gbọ́ létí àṣà ẹ̀fẹ̀ àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan ìkànnì MFM rédíò ọba ló jẹ́ láwùjọ rédíò.
ní àti lágbà orúkọ mẹ́rin nínú ẹ̀rọ àgbẹ̀ mi.
So welcome back to the show. It's still from the newspaper. Don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM Radio and TV, and as you're watching us, to like, comment, and share. We are now in the last segment on the show, which is the details to the headlines. And the first story we're bringing on says federal government taps SHAQEEROH 11 cents as Supreme Court battle loans. The federal government has assembled 10 senior advocates of Nigeria, led by a former Attorney General of Federation, Chief AKINYEMI, as the 6 other lawyers to defend the emergency rule declaration in Rivers State in the suit filed by the 11 People Democratic Party governors, challenging the suspension of Democratic March 18, 2025. Suspend Governor Similaye Fubara, the Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu, and all elected member of the State House of Assembly for initial period of 6 months. Following the suspension, the President appointed Iboteke Hibas as the sole administrator to oversee the state affairs for duration of suspension period. The National Assembly subsequently ratified the rev and the National Assembly as first and second defendants respectively before the Supreme Court. The plaintiffs are Adamawa, Enugu, Osun, Oyo, Bauchi, Akwa Ibom, Plateau, Delta, Taraba, Zamfara, and Bayelsa calls to determine what authority the President has to suspend a democratically elected state institution and replace it with an unelected one. They asked the Apex Court to determine 6 constitutional questions, including whether under the Section 232(1) of 1999 Constitution. The AGF further noted that the jurisdiction of the court is accessible only to disputes between the Federation of Nigeria and a state insofar as the dispute involve any question on which the existence or extent of legal rights depends. The AGF, however, emphasized that the plaintiff has not disclosed by the dispute, let alone a justiciable dispute between the Federation and them. The AGF also the fact that the circumstances which culminated in declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers State. He added that the State House of Assembly was crisis-ready, such a member of the House were divided into 2, with 4 members working with the governor, while 27 members were opposed to the governor, while 1 was loyal to the Speaker. He said as a result of this, the governor was not able to present any appropriation bill to the House, enable the governor to access funds for running of the affairs of the Rivers State. Oloyede added that due to non-presentation of the appropriation bill to the Rivers State House of Assembly for passage, governance in the state becomes stalled. He further stated that the governor, however, allowed the 4 members of the government makes U-turn, endorses Senate security submit. The Minister of Defense, IBADAN, on Sunday reversed his earlier stance and pledged full support for the National Security Summit being organized by the National Assembly, describing the proposed summit as a timely initiative to tackle Nigeria's growing security concerns. Badaro expressed the commitment to participate in the 2-day event and ensure its outcome translates into concrete action. The minister later's position marked a notable departure from his remark on Wednesday during an internal ministerial briefing, where he has suggested that Badaro requested his early position on the proposed summit. He acknowledged the importance of dialogue and inclusive policy making